Hey folks, Dave Parrish here, back with another video. Like these if you can on YouTube. Today's topic is the lowdown on buttons with Knack. What I'm talking about is this thing like book an intro call. You can use them all over for all kinds of things. There's a few different ways to make them, a few different ways to manage them in terms of their use. Sometimes buttons are good, sometimes tabs are good. I'm going to just jump into this and we'll talk about those buttons. Okay, let's jump into this. Buttons is the topic for today. Here's just a test app. Here's one. This is a typical structure I do. On your main page, you're going to have something that's the most important to you. It might be contacts, customers, invoice. And right above that, I always have a button. It's add new. Let's see how you make those. Two different ways right here. Add new. You can do this, go down to menu. Menu means buttons, but it could be more than one button. And you're going to say what table, you're going to say link to a new page. And by the way, all this stuff's pretty basic. This is more for newer folks, but it took me a while to get this under control here. You're going to add a new page. Let's just call it add new for whatever. And this will make the button itself. Okay, and then you're going to go, once you save it, just like anything, you're going to drive down to what's underneath that and build your content. But there's a quicker way to do it too. I'm going to get rid of this. And I actually did not know this for a while when I first started building. You can say add new and go straight to the form, skip the button making step. Let's say we want a button that says add new unit right here, and then this thing here, link to this form from a menu. And just watch this. This is a plain form on the page with the table, which I don't like doing, but I see it a lot. You just click that, it turns that into a button. I'm going to do this. I'm going to add it here. This type of button where you're adding something new or even editing, I have a strong preference for making that a modal pop-up. And every time you do that is a few steps. I wish this would be all automated, but I think lots of builders just do the same thing. They go to it, they go to settings, display a modal pop-up, and if you don't want to side click to close it, you do this. Okay, you have to do that. Now it's a modal pop-up. And you have to do a couple other things to clean it up. One, we're going to engage the form. We're going to go to settings. And we're going to get rid of add unit, the title. Because in a modal pop-up, that appears up above. So you don't want the add unit to right underneath add unit. And you're going to do one other thing. In almost all cases, this is how you want it. Rules, submit rule. The submit rule defaults to show a message. I much rather prefer it to redirect the parent page. So when you submit it, it goes back to where you were, and you see that table, and probably, depending on how you're sorting it, it's going to be a brand new record there for you to deal with. So that's how you make them. Okay, one more thing on how you make them. Here's this piece of content. Add new, it's a button. This is one single piece of content. You can see it's engaged. Now, if you want more buttons, all you do is add another one. I'm just going to do it. And there it is. Now, with all these too, you can add an icon next to them. Let's say this one, add. I do this often, usually at the end of a project. Or you can put a plus sign. It sort of makes it look better. But these are all one piece of content. So whatever's here is going to be driven. I'm going to get into in a minute. In fact, let me get into it right now. Here's a different app. And there's a bunch of buttons. Next, I'm going to get into these buttons versus tabs up top. But here's one piece of content. That's this row. That's top row. There's another piece of content. They're all buttons. Let's just go to it. Right here. Come on, mouse. Let me make this bigger. Let me make me smaller. In this one, we have these two pieces of content. We got this top level of buttons, and we got the bottom level of buttons. And I did this on purpose. This particular app has admins, but within the admin user role, there's a full access or limited access. So to make this easy, I put all the full access stuff up top and the ones that limited below. So with the one page rule right here, you can see if this is admin, full access is yes, no, is no. It's going to hide this whole piece of content right here. This is just for the finance people. That makes it easier. So when you're doing buttons, you might think about how you want them grouped if you're going to deal with that. And there could be other use cases on how you're going to group them. Now let's talk about one more thing here. Tabs versus buttons. I see a lot of new app builders go crazy with tabs. I did a whole video on that, how page layout 101, how not to screw up your app. But sometimes they're useful, a balance of them. Point is, if you're navigating, nesting down via buttons, and you want to get to something else, like these are, I won't get into what these tables are, but they're important. You have to navigate back. If these tabs are in here, you have to navigate back and then navigate to where you want to go. If something you want to grab a lot, you can just click here, go right to it. So just think about it, how you want to navigate, what's the easiest to navigate for your user, and it's a good experience for them. One other thing with buttons, let me go back to this thing. In terms of managing them, if you change this name, I did another video on this. Let's, for example, this says new, add new unit. And I just wanted to say add unit instead. Okay. Hey, that looks good. Well, you're not quite done if you want to be thorough. That just changed. This is just cosmetic. It's what appears on the button. Then you can go down to where you are. This is the content on there. And go to settings. And you're going to see the name of it. So that's going to be the name on top of your modal pop-up says add new unit. And you just change it. You just want to say add new or add unit. And the URL has the same thing. So if you wanted to be thorough, that's what I do. You're going to redo these so it's all consistent. That's what I got on buttons. This actually took me a little longer than I thought. I appreciate you watching. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.